Hey everybody, welcome to A Bit of Birdsong. My name is Lynn. In the last video, we did these little drawings. I think they turned out so cute, but you can really elevate something this simple by adding layers. And we're going to do this one that's not done yet today, and I'll show you the project that I made with these. I think these turned out really pretty. The only reason the clips are here is to help these dry completely flat. Once I had these folded, I did add a little bit of water to the outside, and not too much. You don't want to cause the paper to tear, but I thought if I dampen it a little bit and then fold it flat to dry, it'll keep more of this flat shape. These are just little notepads that I'm not going to be adding any sort of tie or closure to. I think I have all of my supplies out to show you how I did this complete project. I've pulled out 5, I think the cover makes 6 pages that I folded. They're all different shapes and sizes, you know, within reason. They all kind of fit in the same size range, but I did want some edges that were a little bit layered. Now this notebook paper with the torn edges there, I do want to stain this up a little bit. So I'm adding just a little bit of that tea stain and gonna dampen both sides of that, and we'll put this back here to dry a little bit. And then on the cover here, I really want to also add some of that pretty staining to this. Not a whole lot. We're going to make sure this is dry, you know, when we're completely done and ready to give these away, because I am making these for gifts. I don't want too much water right here, and I will show you why. The first step for the cover is to get this pretty text on here, and I do have a text stamp that I like using. We've got black ink, and sometimes it helps if the stamp is a little bit damp or if the paper is a little bit damp. You don't want too much though, because you don't want it just, you know, running everywhere. And we're going to put the text right in the middle of the stem here. I think that's really pretty. There you go. If you do have water or something and you look and think, oh no, this is starting to run everywhere, you can just immediately hit that with your dryer or heat gun or whatever you use to try to slow that down. I think the front is ready though to put our little stamp on that says notes. These are basically little notebooks to give away for Mother's Day, and I just think they're so cute. So that's those 2 steps. I also have a stamp that I want to use. I might need to tear that down just a little bit. And you'll notice that I tried to stay pretty much color coordinated. This one is all beautiful purple lavender, and we have one sheet inside that it was actually a card. Jay, I believe you gave that paper to me when we saw each other in Greenville. I think it was in the things you gave to me. Anyway, thank you. And then there's a pocket on the inside. We're going to add all the same things to the other little notebooks. I did keep them color coordinated though. This one's got more yellow. And then the binding cord is a light pink color. The pocket kind of blends in. It's in the yellow family, kind of a gold. But I thought the pink would work okay. I did not have yellow binding thread, and that's okay. Everything doesn't have to be completely matchy-matchy, but I did want it to feel coordinated. I'm not sure which stamp I want to use. Yep, let's use this one. Let's glue this stamp right up here in the corner. Most of our ink on here is black, as you can see. For this little stamp that I'm going to put on the ink stamp that's going to go over the postage stamp. Now, I do like to add a little bit of water to this stamp. And, you know, you don't want it just like going everywhere, but you do want enough ink to really show up and be visible over the top of that postage stamp. There, that's perfect. I'm gonna dry this a little bit, but first, let's do the birdsong stamp while we're right here. Perfect. So we have our cover, we have these pages that go on the inside, we have the notebook paper page with these rough edges. I love that. And that is still in the process of drying. We'll hit that again with the dryer in just a minute. I went ahead and cut a coordinating piece of paper. When I say coordinating, I mean the color family. It's kind of a red-pink color. And we're gonna go ahead and glue this down to make an inside pocket. Let's just glue that right in place. It hangs over a tiny bit, and I'm gonna trim that off. Now let's put the pages back in the order I had them. And I did put them all in the same order. Have this notebook paper, that pretty floral paper that's a little bit more pink than the cover, but that's okay. We're gonna go with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this makes 6. Really pretty. And I think we're going to go ahead and bind it at this point. I've picked out it's a baker's twine for binding this. We don't need a really long piece. We're going to bind it so that it ties on the inside. So I'm just going to take my awl, and I think I will punch a hole about here. We're only going to do a 2-hole binding style. And let's just put that through, and then I like to keep my pliers close by. The second stitch or hole, sometimes it's good to put it through the pocket as well, but I don't think we need to worry too much about that. I'm going to go up just a little higher, just so it kind of balances as far as the way it looks. And then this one's going to come in from the outside, and it's actually not difficult to find that hole at all because we're working with so few pages. And honestly, most of this paper is pretty stiff. Okay, I'm going to tie this, and I'm going to bring the knot closer to the top here so these little strings can hang down. I always like to add a tiny little drop of glue in the center of the knot before I tie it the second time, and that really helps to hold it in place, especially if you're working with a type of cord or yarn or twine or something that can come loose really easily. And there are things that kind of work their way out of being tied in a knot. So that's cute. And since the baker's twine can twist apart, I'm just going to put a little bit of beeswax on these little pieces hanging down. Might help those to stay together. And then when we close it, we have another really pretty book. And what I'm going to do is put the clip on here to keep all these pages closed. I do like the look that it gives when we have this stain that just kind of pulls around the clip a little bit. And I'm going to try not to go over this ink because it's not a permanent ink and it'll run. I don't really want that at this point. But we can kind of distress some of these areas where we want to add some more color. You could add any type of ink you want to at this point. You know, you could take your ink pad and distress the edges or whatever. Let's turn the dryer on again. And here, the finished notebooks. We have 3 really pretty little books that are absolutely nice as gifts. You could continue to work in these and add, you could distress the pages more. Obviously, if you were giving it to someone who junk journals and loves ephemera and, you know, junk journal embellishments, you could gift them with the clip as well and put little pieces of ephemera in. I am planning to remove the clips because I just don't think it's necessary for what I'm giving these for. And got a pocket for keepsakes. I just think they're really cute. And when you do something like this in an assembly, type fashion. It's not that difficult to make quite a few in a, you know, kind of a short amount of time compared to some projects. One thing I want to tell you, if you don't have one of the stamps that makes a postmark like this, you can probably order those online. I found mine used at a local thrift store, so I haven't really shopped for them like that. But if you don't have something like this, you could always take a tiny little jar and dip it in some sort of ink or paint. Gold paint is a really pretty option, and then just stamp a little circle on there. And of course you could go with even a smaller bottle than this. If you had a stamp with some sort of text, you might even be able to fit a little bit of text in the center. There are all sorts of ways to improvise on things like that. I hope you found this useful. Even if you don't do this for a journal cover or a notebook cover, it would be a really pretty journal page or little journal cards. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back really soon. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. Bye for now.